Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about why you should fight a protection order. This is Christina Williams with Just Criminal Law.
And David Mann, legal storytelling specialist. Okay, so why should you fight a restraining order?
Well, there's a really famous case that everybody's probably aware of, but they may not know that it started with just a protection order, and that was the Amber Heard Johnny Depp saga that went on in front of everybody's eyes for months. And what happened in that particular case was we had the petitioner, Amber Heard, asking for a protection order against the respondent, Johnny Depp, and she was alleging domestic violence. And what happened was they got into an argument, and she said he threw his phone at her, and it hit her in the eye. So she called law enforcement. Law enforcement responded and didn't find that there was even probable cause to charge Johnny Depp with a battery. And so they didn't charge him with any crime, but she took it in front of the judge, asking the judge for a protection order alleging domestic violence. And the judge ended up granting that order. It's really, really hard to fight those orders. And, then it just spiraled out of control, as everyone is aware of. And she was very much found to be not credible in a court case. However, in this protection order hearing or that process, her order was granted.
Okay, so of course, those are extraordinary people with extraordinary resources, but a lot of the same things can happen to anyone, right? So if it's the same kind of, it's a woman accusing a man of some kind of domestic abuse, she can just decide that it was domestic abuse, and then all of a sudden there's a restraining order against him? Is that how it works?
Right. So she'll fill out a petition. It's, just a few pages of paperwork where she alleges some form of domestic violence. The court reviews it and, determines whether there is at least some evidence to support her allegation and issues that temporary restraining order or protection order. And it may prevent him from seeing his children, from going back to his house, from going to any establishments like clubs or gyms that they belong to. And until there is a hearing, he's required to obey that order. And generally, there's a hearing held within 72 hours.
But that hearing might not be 72 hours, right? It might go on and on for a long time?
Right. So if that person who's been accused of something wants to get an attorney, then a lot of times there has to be a continuance, which can bump the hearing out, a month or two, and they're subject to this restraining order until they can go in front of the judge and have the attorney help them fight it.
So there's a lot of potential rights and privileges that the accused really can't do when they're under one of these protective orders. So that means it really sounds like they need an attorney. So how can an attorney get them past all that?
Well, the attorney can help them rebut or dispute the allegation that's made in the petition by the petitioner. And they really do want to try to fight this and rebut that evidence because they, potentially are looking at a criminal charge down the road if for some reason they're found to have violated the protection order, and these orders can be granted for up to 3 years. And so they are just putting themselves in a position that they don't necessarily want to be in. Additionally, they can be ordered to not own or possess a firearm, and they can also have a record, that is, they are put on the law enforcement information network as being a person who has a protection order entered against them. So it damages their reputation as well.
Wow, so it's really not something to try to do yourself. If they need a lawyer like yourself, how might they get a hold of you?
Sure, we'll include a link in the description where they can call, text, or chat with a member of my team anytime, day or night. Here at Just Criminal Law, we know you only get one shot at justice, so make yours count.